Showtime. Oh boy, oh boy.
Showtime in the morning.
Showtime.
Let's see what's going now.
Due to recent attacks and threats in my inbox, my hand has been forced to expose the truth, what I know. So, yeah, get your feelings off the shoulders because here it come. Get ready. Here it come, the truth. And if you keep on with the goofy shit and following these frauds, then that shows what type of integrity you have. You know, you just be butthurt because everything you thought was real is not. And you are the spark of the Most High who put the stars in the firmament. Not Master Fard Muhammad, not Noble Drew Ali, Thomas Drew, a.k.a. Timothy Drew, nor Elijah Poole, Bey, a.k.a. Elijah Muhammad. It's all a fraud. So, let's continue with the film. Bang, bang, receipt gang. You're fucking with the right one. I ain't one of these regurgitators. We got the facts here. Peace.
After Farad was released from San Quentin after doing 3 years, he joined what was left of Marcus Garvey's fading movement called the United Negro Improvement Association. From there, Farad went on to join Drew Ali's Moorish Science Temple of America. And though Farad claimed to be a black African, everyone in both Garvey and Drew Ali's movements thought Farad to be of East Indian descent. His facial features, dialect, speech, mannerisms were definitely not African. The extreme transition from former drug user and pusher to black nationalist probably puzzled Farad as well as the blacks he suddenly began associating with. Many wondered what was his real motives. Wealthy Jewish philanthropist Julius Rosenwald was known for making generous donations to African Americans on a continuous basis. Rosenwald's butler was a man named Claude Green, who was a member of Noble Drew Ali's Moorish Science Temple of America, who held the title of Sheikh. Rosenwald was unaware that Green was a member of the MSTA and purchased a building for Green. Green had misled Rosenwald about his real reasons for needing such a large building. The building at 3640 Indiana Avenue in Chicago's black community was instantly converted into a mosque and headquarters for the MSTA. The building would be called Unity Hall. It was in this building that Drew Ali's financial empire would begin. From the profit of membership dues and other means, Drew Ali had amassed enough cash to live a lavish lifestyle. He married many women and divorced them whenever he desired. When he stole a woman from Green's embrace that Green had his heart set on, Green's jealousy kicked into high gear. Green now demanded that Ali give him a raise in the MSTA's financial status. Green told Ali that if he couldn't fulfill the demand, he'd become a whistleblower and expose Ali as a con man and religious fraud. Green wasn't bluffing. He possessed the organization's financial records in a safe in his own office at Unity Hall. The bovine excrement was about to hit the fan. March 14, 1929, several of Drew Ali's enforcers stabbed and shot Green to death as he was locking up the Unity Hall building. Drew Ali, though out of town at the time of the murder, was connected to the murder of Green and placed in jail. Bogged down with his legal troubles and his organization on the verge of collapsing, Drew Ali quickly placed David Ford L. in charge. David Ford L. was one of the 58 aliases that Farad had used. With David Ford L. now acting as head of the Chicago Mosque, Drew Ali suddenly died. A power struggle over who would become the successor of the financial empire emerged. David Ford L. had claimed that he was the man that Drew Ali appointed to the title, but many gave him the thumbs down. A man who claimed to be God.
The Bible says, see, we know that Allah is God and we ain't gonna worry about it no more.
An assignment to a lost found nation of people and supreme wisdom lessons to solve the mystery of who was the real true God.
See, we are 5% of poor righteous teachers, poor righteous teachers, poor righteous teachers, poor righteous.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Master Farad taught our people, taught him that heaven is a condition and hell is a condition. Right here.
But we know he doing his job while we out here to do a job also.
The one who claimed he was the supreme ruler of the universe despite a history of criminal activity and an extensive arrest record. And one successor who claimed he was the messenger of God. It's the incredible science fiction-like story about the continuation of the spread of Islam with an all-new twist from Wallace D. Farad, a man with many aliases whose strange teachings spoke of an angry black scientist who attempted to blow up Mother Earth, and another dissatisfied scientist who would create a race of devils who would be given 6,000 years to control the world. The wearing of bow ties wasn't truly an original idea developed by the Nation of Islam. This attire adaptation goes back to Noble Drew Ali's Moorish Science Temple of America that predates both the Allah Temple of Islam and the Nation of Islam. Even the Nation of Islam's military Fruit of Islam uniform is a spin-off on the uniform of Marcus Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association. In November of 1932, Nation of Islam's founder, Farad Muhammad, called Elijah Muhammad from his hotel room and broke some very bad news to Elijah. The news he dropped on Elijah was about a Nation of Islam follower who went berserk and stabbed a man to death on a makeshift altar in his home. The man who committed the murder, his name was Robert Harris. His Muslim name was Robert Kareem. A book written by Master Farad Muhammad titled The Secret Rituals of the Lost Found Nation of Islam instructed all believers of the cult to stab people to death in order to gain religious rewards. Obviously, the author of such madness greatly influenced Robert Harris's actions. All the main newspapers of Detroit covered this shocking story, and the entire city of Detroit was completely shook up. A lunatic was on the loose. After the murder took place, Nation of Islam member Robert Harris calmly walked away from the scene of the crime. The house where this grisly murder took place quickly became known as the Voodoo House. When Harris was arrested, he told the police that he made a sacrificial murder to please his God, Master Farad. Harris was quickly declared insane and put in a straitjacket. Why did this man named Master Farad write such a book, asking for his followers to commit sacrificial murders to please him? The newspaper accounts said Farad, who was claiming to be a religious god, was a fake. He was actually a man from India. One of his followers, hell-bent on pleasing him, went bananas and took another man's life, killing him in a small house that would become known as the Voodoo House. The cult of the Nation of Islam was quietly guiding beneath the radar screen until this unbelievable crime took place. In later years, the Nation of Islam's leadership would blame Malcolm for bringing unwanted attention towards the cult. But the facts are, the U.S. government was watching the cult from the very day Robert Harris put the spotlight on them. The Detroit newspapers pulled no punches. They gave the reader a complete inside look into the practices of the Nation of Islam. Farad told the detectives that he was God, the supreme being on earth. He and another man named Yugan Ali concocted the whole cult. The man who went berserk and murdered someone named Robert Harris misunderstood my teachings, Farad told the police. A murder Harris committed for his two gods of Islam. Farad, who by his own admission declared his race white to some and black to others. Farad, who would state to arresting officers that he was a false prophet, ripping off blacks strictly for money. Farad, who supposedly vanished, would be replaced by a former alcoholic named Elijah Poole, who would rise up to become one of the most feared black leaders ever. His name would become Elijah Muhammad. Muhammad, who would call himself God's last messenger, would attract many converts who would become very famous. Unfortunately, a history of division would repeat itself, resulting in more death.